Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Zero to Empire podcast. I have Claudia Braun on this episode today, and she is a mindset and lifestyle coach. So, Claudia, how do you actually what got you into becoming a mindset and lifestyle coach?
Well, Stephanie, first, I want to thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation and appreciate what you're doing and appreciate you bringing me onto your show. So, start with that. So, really, what got me into this is my own journey of being on a emotional, spiritual journey and really wanting to help myself to get better. And in putting practices together, I started to realize there's a lot of people out there who are struggling. And I had found a way to manage my mind and to bring my life into more peace and well being. And I saw a lot of people were not experiencing that. And I thought, I want to make a difference. That's why I'm here, to make a difference. So that's what got me started.
That's awesome, and that's great to hear. More people do need to have that in their lives, especially a positive mindset and positive lifestyle does improve lives drastically. So it's good to have people like yourself coaching and be able to do all this. So, what actually drives you to wake up every day and help others through your coaching work?
I would say my clients really, because I see through my clients how much their lives have changed and what their life would have been like if they didn't have somebody like me in their life. And so I think I know there are more people like my clients, like I was, who are struggling. And I know I have a solution for those people who are ready to be unstuck. They're ready to stop doing what's not working. And so I'm on a mission to reach them.
That's awesome. And when it comes to your success stories, can you actually share a time where a client was transformed by all your coaching strategies?
Yeah, I love that question. So I was at a networking event, business networking event, and I stood up and I said what I did. And this woman turned to me and she said, "I need to hire you." And I think it also speaks to, like, if you were to look at this woman, you would think that she really had it all together. She's a beautiful woman. She said made a beautiful appearance, but that's not how it was on the inside. And when I got to know her and I really heard her story, she's married, she has two children, she and her husband had a business together, and she was really depressed. She was really feeling the burden of running the business, of having two children, of feeling like there's no space for her. And she had been doing things from a lot of programming. She was an immigrant. She was a daughter of an immigrant. She and her mother immigrated from Romania, and she had always been the go-to person. She'd always been, for her mom, she was the mouthpiece. Her mom didn't speak English. So when she was a little kid, she had to be the adult. She had to take care of her mom in a country where she didn't speak the language. So when we started working together, there were so many things in place that she had programmed herself to believe from a little kid, that she had to work really hard. There was no time for her. She couldn't say if she needed help because it was a sign of weakness. She ran everything. She ran the household. She ran her friends group. She ran the business with her husband. But she was sick of it. And she was burdened and she was frustrated. And through our work together, it gave her permission to start to find out what she actually needed. And she was at a place in her life when we started working together. She was thinking maybe she wanted to get divorced. She didn't know about the business. Like, there was just so many things in her life that felt not good. And through our work together, it really transformed her relationship with herself. It changed her relationship with her mother. It changed her relationship with her husband. It changed her feelings about being a mom, her business. I mean, she was really making a huge difference in her community. She was a person who was an organizer. So the way she went out in the world just was such a different attitude. And so she was absolutely transformed from the work that we did together.
That's great to hear, and you've definitely changed your life for the better, seems like, and it couldn't have been done without talking to you. So that's very impressive, honestly. And she's honestly going to go about life all entirely different from this point forward. So, how do you actually balance the need to grow a business with the actual deeper purpose of making a positive impact on people? people?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I would say that I don't see them as being separate, to be honest. Um, for me, growing a business means I'm sharing the work I do, which I love. So I don't feel I'm not after success for the sake of success. I'm after building my business to make a difference. And I see that as a difference. I think that the people who come to me are because they are putting success ahead of purpose. And for me, purpose and success are connected. I want to be successful at what I do by putting my purpose out in the world. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense. And it's good to have purpose when you're doing the business and to focus on that and helping others instead of necessarily the monetary value of all of it. Because you're honestly, the example you said was how you changed that woman's life forever. It's very impactful. Like, no dollar sign could put anything to that. And with that said, like, what were some actually the steps that you took to becoming, like, you're turning your vision into becoming a coach?
Yeah. So, well, it took a while for me to really put the pieces together. Like I said, I was on my own journey. Um, I did a number of things before I became a coach. I went to social work school. I decided I didn't want to be a social worker. It didn't feel like the right path for me. Um, I found something called shiatsu massage, which is body, mind, spirit work. So I had a mind, body, mind practice for a while. I would tell my clients the way to make your sessions last was to do yoga, and so I started to teach people to do yoga, and I had a yoga studio for a while. So I started building my practice by the steps along the way that got me here. And so each one of those pieces helped me to build a practice, giving my clients tools and strategies that would make a difference, that was much more of a holistic approach as opposed to just um, one one answer for everybody, because I don't think that's true. I think we there's so many things going on for each person. Having a framework is key, but being able to be flexible with the person presenting makes a huge difference. I'm not exactly sure if that answered your question or not. Um,
Yes, it makes sense to be individual, like address people's specific concerns on an individual level. Like, obviously, everyone's going through different things, and that all makes sense. So, how do you actually, like, what does the next stage of your empire look like, and how does your why continue to evolve as your business grows?
yeah. So similarly to you, I'm very happy to be a guest on your podcast because I'm interested in also being, and we talked about this, is really in launching my own podcast. Um, because I know, particularly when I talk to women, there's a lot of loneliness in their story because they can have the outward success. Because, like I said, my client, she looks successful. She had two children, she had a business, she had a husband, she's a beautiful woman, she looks successful. So it's very easy for people to go along thinking there must be something wrong with me because it all looks good. Why aren't I happy? Why don't I feel better? So the next stage for me is getting my voice more out there so people have more access to hearing the information and getting that there's nothing wrong with me. But I need to start really shifting on how my thinking is and really exploring, is what I'm believing what actually fits for me today? It might have fit 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. It might have fit for my parents, but it doesn't fit for me. And I've been living it, and I need to start to rethink this. So that's the next phase for me of really being more out there speaking, is the next phase for me.
That's great. And like having your own, like having content out there will help a lot of people, especially those that are not necessarily going through anything, but just having content out there of yours can really help people, and it's good to hear. So, what's one business mistake you made early on that became actually a pivotal learning experience to where you are today?
I think I've heard it said that we learn more from our mistakes than we do for what we get right. Um, I know that one of the things I do for fun is I make pots, ceramics, and when I do something really well, I don't always learn from it because it's like sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know why that worked. It just worked. So I can't necessarily duplicate it. So I would say that my mistakes actually are my greatest teachers. And one of the mistakes I made, and I know a lot of other coaches have done this as well, is I wanted to help everybody. And what I came to realize is I can't help everybody. I can only help people who actually want to do the work to change. I know what I do works. It's worked for me, it's worked for many other clients I've worked with. But I've also worked with clients who expected me to do the work or didn't want to put any work into it and just wanted to know that they hired a coach and then they think that's going to make the difference. It's a beginning, but there's a willingness to take action that will create the results in their life. And people said, I don't really have much time and I don't really want to put much into it, but I want to get these results. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I can help you. Because I really thought, my energy, my inspiration, I knew what it took. I could really help them. It's like I came to realize, no, I don't want to work with somebody who doesn't want to put the time in and then perhaps wants to blame me because they didn't get results. So this is not a win-win situation. They don't feel good, they didn't get results, and then I don't feel good because I didn't help somebody get to where they want to go. So I learned that I now know the people I want to work with are people who are like, I'm sick of where I'm at. This is not working. I don't have the solution. I'm willing to be teachable. I'm willing to do things differently. Please help me because what I'm doing is not getting me results. So I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I get that 100%. And how do you actually go about packaging your expertise into offerings that actually resonate with these people and your clients that actually can make you income?
Yeah, so I always tell my clients, you didn't get here overnight. It's not going away overnight. So how I work with my clients is they work with me for a minimum of 3 months. I start with them, they take an assessment. They learn from the assessment ways in which they might be sabotaging themselves. Their mind is in their own way. And that creates a blueprint for where we want to go. And the process of the work we do together really is incremental steps that help them to achieve results. So the package is stepping on this, almost what comes to mind is like, it's like a magic carpet ride because when you get on the carpet, you don't know exactly where you're going. And that's kind of how this is. I know that in these 3 months, you are not going to be where you are. The things that you're struggling with, the challenges you have, will not be the same in 3 months. You will have breakthroughs. And you'll have breakthroughs that will surprise you, and they have a ripple effect because everything that we're holding on to or we don't want to change is creating more problems in our life. And so the work we do together is the 3 month package is about saying yes to themselves so that they can say yes to more aspects of who they can be and no to what interferes with what stops them.
That's good to hear. And I'm glad that you package these particular for everyone differently. And it's a minimum of 3 months because, yeah, anything can honestly change in a given time frame. And yeah, I do appreciate you being on the podcast, Claudia. You've been a great cast or a great, what's the word? Participant or guest. Sorry. And yeah, I appreciate your time. Where can everyone find you that want to get your help?
Yeah, so the best way to find me is to access there's a QR code here. Can they see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. I would say that's the best way. And through that, I offer a complimentary assessment and no obligation. You can take the assessment and I'll walk you through it. I'll show you ways in which you are unknowingly in your own way. And then through that, you can learn about yourself and then you can discover whether or not coaching is something you want to take you to the next level. So I would say that's the best way to get a hold of me.
That's great to hear. And if anyone's looking for a mindset and lifestyle coach, make sure to check out Claudia. And thank you everyone for listening and watching. And I'll see you everyone in the next episode.
Samuel, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, you're welcome.